everyone, welcome to the Long Way Home podcast with me, Jordan, and Kyle. This week we're going to be covering the recent two races in F1, have a little chat about after the Jaguar day, what more content we got, and then swiftly go over to the comments and then any other business that we want to chat about.
Sure.
Firstly, Kyle, you wanted to talk about the
Ferrari. It's called the Luce, the Ferrari Luce, or Lucy as I read it to first time round, but obviously it's Italian, so it's Luce. I think almost as controversial as the Nissan Juke kind of reveal. I know we took the piss out of the Nissan Juke in one of our previous episodes. But the Ferrari Luce, I think, and again, I wasn't aware of this, but a couple of, what would I say? I don't know when it was, but there was an actual teaser reveal of the Ferrari Luce interior, and I wasn't aware of that. So this is my first time seeing anything about the Ferrari Luce. And I think that was well received in ways because the interior was quite nice, and it is quite nice when you look at it on some of the more vigorous kind of reviews of the car or looks at the car. Yeah. But the first exterior reveal, in a way, the first video that I saw was with the Ferrari official page with Leclerc and Hamilton, and the comment section was hilarious about how. Like Hamilton should get an Oscar nomination for his A-level acting of like, I think there's a shot where like it looks like they've got the boot up or something like that. And and Hamilton's stood there like this, like, yeah, really. Yeah, this is interesting information. But I think we both agree we're not big fans of the exterior design of the car, are we? So
no. Obviously they're being forced to do EV. It's their first EV car. But yeah, it's not nice. It looks like someone just randomly drew it up. We've got to make this car. Let's just make it, get it out to market. The shocking thing is the price.
Yes. How much is it? Do you know exactly?
I saw it north of 300,000, which is...
I swear daft. I saw north
I don't know if that was real.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe north there's different levels of it.
Well, regardless, I feel like it shouldn't be anything over 150. Yes, it's a Ferrari, but it's electric. Like, all you got to do is plonk a battery in it.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be north of 600. I'm probably being hyperbolic there. But I know that the car itself, with it being an EV car, we see a lot of EV cars having very smooth designs just because they're trying to maximize the distance range. Because of the efficiency and drag. Yeah. But still, there is so much more you probably could do with it to make it look better. There are other EV cars out there which I do believe look nicer than this one. Yeah. And I think it's even the shape. The shape, I think part of the shape that doesn't feel Ferrari as well is the fact, did you realize that it's the first 5-door Ferrari car ever made as well? Not only the first EV, but it's the first, not 5-door, 5-seater Ferrari, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I've seen another 5-door.
Yeah.
So the 4x4 thing they made, is that only 4 seats?
It probably only has 4 seats. Like the Purosangue SUV. Yeah. Yeah. From what I saw on the videos that I've done and the research I've done, they're claiming it is their first 5-seat, not 5-door.
Oh, that's why it costs so much, and they've had to put another seat in.
Another seat in, another piece of leather. But I think that's another reason why it looks kind of weird and not Ferrari DNA like. Like they have also the first one I saw was with them weird wheels, like the EV type wheels where there's like it's all just like a dish in a sense. Yeah. Hated that. Then I saw another one with the more 5-spoke Ferrari wheels. And then I was kind of warming up to it a bit. I was like, okay, now it looks a bit better. You can see the calipers. It looks a bit more like a Ferrari in a sense. The first set of wheels, like absolute awful, like throw up in your mouth, disgusting looking. It made it look so cheap because I don't know why, it just looked like a cheap knockoff EV. Right? Because again, there was, other than it having a Ferrari logo slapped on the front,
Yeah.
It didn't look like a Ferrari. It didn't have the feel of Ferrari DNA, is what I would say.
Yeah. I feel like it's so hard for these like elite manufacturers, the like posh manufacturers, the highest ones, to still make like an EV car feel the same way. Like they can make it look luxurious inside, and it does, but then like on the outside, like because you haven't got like, oh, it's got a big pan roof and then it's got an open bit at the back where you can see the engine. It's got 4 exhausts. It's got just all the sporty detailing's just gone. So then you're just left with a washing machine, which is just a box, and then it's just got a yellow badge with a prancing horse on it.
Yeah, I think I saw, obviously, in the world that we live in now with AI, I saw so many different versions of concepts of what we wish it could have looked like, and I'll put one up on the screen. I think it was a guy called Mr. Simonson or Simonson or something like that. Clearly just some AI concept render, but I mean, yeah, it looks like that looks like a poster for Ferrari. I think I might have seen it. It was like a blue one, and it just had aero all over it. And I was like, yeah, that looks cool. Clearly,
that
wouldn't
did
help.
Look cool. The back end looked very similar as well, but the front end was like completely like hunkered down. It had the like the vents in the bonnet, the scoops, and then it was just completely low. I feel like because it's higher up as well, it takes that away as well.
Yeah, it does. And I think it just doesn't look, not every Ferrari needs to look aggressive, but it doesn't have anything about it. It doesn't seem to have any character about it. It seems to be a bit more muted and clinical. And
yeah,
I think I've seen people talking about Johnny Ives, who's part of the kind of development of the car in the way, and the build of the car. He is the guy that was with Apple, helped develop loads of the features with the touchscreen and interactiveness with Apple iPhones, etc. So I think he must have had a lot of like input into the interior of the car. And I watched a video breakdown of him talking through that. And yeah, it does look interesting inside the car. There is a lot of screens again. But I think, I'll tell you one thing that I found really interesting from the interview that I did see. It was really interesting how they talked about, like, for example, a lot of men also like watches. Like, if you like cars, generally sometimes people like watches also. And I think that's because we just must have some primal, innate kind of, I don't know what, fondness for mechanical things, and we just enjoy actual moving parts, etc. Just like an engine, just like a naturally aspirated car, we like mechanical watches. And I think he said something along the lines of, imagine if like the government or the industry moved in and said, you know what, all mechanical watches have to go. Everything has to be like a digital Casio now, and everything has to be like a smartwatch. I think so many people, like, again, the price of mechanical watch, pre-existing mechanical watches would then begin to skyrocket, because you would be like, these are never going to be made again. And I know it's different because like we have to fuel bloody cars, and a watch you can basically just, you can get ones that can self-wind. But equally, if they turn around, we can't build self-winding watches anymore. They've all got to be battery powered, even if they're not going to be digital faced. But like they've all got to have battery power. You would never a rule of law would never be made like that. And I think because we have such an appreciation for the art and the science and the beauty of making something that has all of these different machine parts to it, and I think that's what. And again, it is like that Ferrari Luce. It feels like it's lacking a bit of soul a little bit. And there's also a great quote from Jeremy Clarkson when he talks about, I can't remember the quote exactly, but where he talks about them cars actually being living, breathing things, like the way that they aspirate, etc. And he talks, also Chris Harris, when he did one with a collaboration with Francis Bourgeois, and they were following a steam train, I remember watching that one and watching the steam train compared to obviously modern trains now.
Completely different.
Just seeing the way that thing chugged along, and even Chris Harris was like, "Wow, this thing actually lives and breathes." It's a kind of like you can see parts of it swell and expand and then decompress, and it's just so interesting. It does seem to be alive, whereas these electrical things just seem to be soulless.
Yeah, I think that's difficulty. Obviously, like the metaphor of the watch and the comparison of the watch, like the issue is that they're all being governed to come away from the fossil fuels because of the planet. But the thing is, like, there's actually still deeper investigation and what's the word, research into like fossil fuels, and they're there. They just expect that renewable fuels, they're there, but they're still going through them. They're very, very expensive at the minute. But we know that they're not too far away. Like, I think this is going to come full circle. I think they're all going to end up being forced to make EV, and particularly the more popular brands that are a bit higher up. So your BMW, your Porsche, your Audi, and then the higher one above that. So your Jags, your Aston, and then that sort of level. They're all probably going to wait for that and then go, sod that, we'll make our own, because people will pay for it. People will pay for the extra fuel, because it will come from, I think it will come full circle. We've seen the F1 I think they've pretty much agreed that V8 engines will come back with. Yeah.
The rules about 2035, they've already been backtracked on, in terms of every car has to be an EV, or every brand new car has to be an EV by 2035. I think
on
many
the
of them,
EU laws,
they've all been backtracked. So it seems that whatever was put in motion years and years ago is slowly unraveling, and for whatever reason, whether it's global geopolitical issues, etc. But I think there is more time left in the kind of naturally aspirated, or at least hybrid car world, going forwards, which can only be a good thing for us, because we're still not at the maximum of our capacity to buy the kind of cars that we want and dream of, and we don't want to get to a point where we've finally got the wealth and the riches to afford nice kind of more luxury or exciting cars, and them all just sound like a microwave. That would be very, very unfortunate. Obviously, we could go back and we could buy old classic naturally.
You could buy old classic, but then I feel like if it did just go all EV, like you said with the watches, the price of those
will just skyrocket.
They'll go through the roof, and then the actual cost of having one will go through the roof, because then
running it, servicing
you won't have as many garages, because they'll all just be doing electric.
Yeah,
I'm talking like two decades away, maybe.
Yeah.
But like that, the society will change if that was the case. But I feel like engineers and people that like to work on engines and make stuff like that, that will just stay in business. I think it will just go full circle. We'll end up keeping a combustion engine. It just won't release anything toxic to the earth, and that's what we want.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, we don't need to slate it too much, because there will be a market that will buy them. It's not, and again, it's such a car that is so far out of many people's price bracket anyway. It might be just another thing that gates people from buying other Ferraris, etc. on this whole waitlist thing. Again, a bit like watches. You have to have certain watches to get the next watch. You have to get certain cars to get the next car. So it might just be one of the things that might be trying to capture a different audience. In like, statistically, I think in the US, most EV cars have like stagnated around 10% uptake, I think it is, or something like that. In China, 50% of new cars being bought are EVs. So obviously different parts of the world are at different stages of EV uptake. I think European markets like in between in a sense. So yeah, it's interesting. And if anything goes the way that they want in the US with all these kind of like self-driving cars, and I think the US has got way better infrastructure for that kind of thing compared to the UK or some European areas, because we don't have the roads for it. They just have straight grids. Like self-driving cars are going to be fine and that kind of stuff. So if they take off in America like they expect them to and predict them to, then the EV market over there is going to go, skyrocket. But they're not going to have EV Ferrari Luces. So, no one can really predict how this future is going to pan out, really. But overall, I think the car was. It wasn't a bad taste in the mouth. It was just a weird taste in the mouth. If you would agree with me.
Yeah, I don't think it's like the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It just wasn't Ferrari, so it was like more shocking that they designed that sort of thing. I think recent Ferraris haven't been like amazing looking, really. Maybe the 290F was probably the decent looking one. Was it 290F?
SF90.
SF90, sorry. I was getting the numbers the wrong way around. I feel like that was a decent looking one. I saw
some people didn't like that, I think there was a consensus that they didn't like that. They felt it was too just bland in a way.
I've seen Matt Armstrong bought one and he's done his up. I think he's put a kit on it, but I thought when he got it, I know it was crash damage, but I thought it was decent looking.
I mean, again, I'd have one. If I could have one, I'd have one.
I'd have one.
Complaining.
I think the released one recently was much better looking as well. But I think there's like a couple of cars in between where you were thinking, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
And it tells because you don't see anyone like reviewing them over and over again. And like we saw with the Valhalla, like that was all over my feed. As soon as people press.
Yeah, but you're an Aston Martin fanboy, so of course you're going to see it all over your feed.
Yeah, but I also obviously just went on literally my homepage on YouTube and it was like 5 people who reviewed it in a day. Whereas like I don't get like 10 reviews of the new Ferrari. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But yeah, I don't think it was a nice looking car, and the price is disgusting. Obviously, we would never be able to afford one anyway, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a shocker when I saw that. And yeah, you're right. The comments were all funny. I saw someone put like quotations saying, "Yeah, I like the tires. They're round." And, like taking the piss. I was
just
like,
being sarcastic.
Oh god, this is gonna go on forever now. It's just gonna be like a meme that Lewis and Leclerc are like, "Oh yeah, we love it. This is this," and you're like, it's so disingenuous.
It's fake, but we all know that's what they've got to do to get paid at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that interesting. I guess that's the piece of car news for this week.
Yeah.
I know Jordan kind of mentioned at the beginning. I'm doing it today just to kind of. We did go to the Chris Harris and Friends podcast event. Mm-hmm. I noticed that throughout the whole time that we was there, I kept calling it the Chris Harris on Cars podcast. It's not. It's the Chris Harris and Friends podcast because he's doing it with his friends. But yeah, I'm just showing off and sporting some of the merch that I got from that. And yeah, make Jaguar great again. Maybe we can get on it quick, Jord, and we can make Ferrari great again hats. And make some money off that, but who knows? But yeah, did you have any other final takeaways? The video seems to be doing pretty well. Judging by some of the comments, maybe not the best received, but we don't care. We'll do some follow up on that at some point. But you do have some other comments, George. Do you wanna go through them at all?
Well, I've got comments from like previous videos when we've asked obviously people to give feedback on anything. So I've got F1 overtakes lost excitement ? Jacob Thomas said, "I'm the opposite. I love it. I think it brings something new to the sport." So that's interesting. That's like like you were saying when we were talking about it, you've got opposite sides of the field where people just go, well, they're overtaking. What more do you want?
Yeah.
And then you've got Dark Charizard has said, God forbid we have racing.
Yeah, I saw that comment when I was looking through the stuff. I think, do you know what? I'm flipping and flopping. Do you know what I found interesting? That I found watching, I can't remember if it was in the Miami race, but definitely in the Canada race, Montreal. I did not see any more graphics about them using their boost to do overtakes.
Yeah, they was using it a lot at the start of the year.
They've just seemingly disappeared, and I don't know, but I feel like that has enhanced my watchability of it. Now I'm not, even though maybe the bunny hopping's still happening, but because I'm not knowing why or how it's happening, because it might be that they're using the boost, it does seem more entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed watching the Canada race
so
compared to some of the others this season so far. So, and I found myself thinking that halfway through, I was like, when are they using the boost? Like there's literally no graphic right now. You used to have in the first early races, they'd have that like first person cam and they'd show the little UX graphics. You don't see that anymore. And not even on the board. Like, because obviously before, you'd know if they're about to do some form of overtake when they was in 1 second because the wing would open and the car in front's wing wouldn't open. But now everyone's wings open anyway. Like, there's no like flashing light on top of their helmet. There's no graphics anymore. I think we do need something to show when it's being used, but I don't think we need to have it as in your face as it was at the beginning of the season. I think just where they have their literal timers, I think if you can see if someone who's in that like 0.9, 0.6 kind of like under a second position, and if they press that button, it would be nice if their little name tag on the leaderboard just lit up a different color or something like that. Or whether they had like a graphic of the green going down, just so we could just get a sense still, because it's part of the race. We'd like to know strategically where are people doing it, and I feel like we don't get to see that or know that now. So it did make it more interesting, but I think don't go completely flip-flop the other way where you don't show anything. I think they still need to show something. Maybe if you press Sky red button, there is ways of seeing it. But I think I've just watched the general. And I'd love to just see something that still shows it. But it is more entertaining now that they're not shoving it in our face in a way.
I did see a couple of clips where it was showing that someone was like braking and they were using it at the same time. So I don't know if the graphics were like not fully lining up, so then they didn't want to put out misinformation.
Like a what would you say, reliability issue with the metrics and all that kind of stuff.
With like the data points that they're getting. I don't know, but definitely I didn't see it half as much. In fact, I don't actually remember seeing it at all in the Canada race.
Yeah.
We'll come to the races later, but another comment that we got, we asked weirdest thing you've seen in the car. Case Smith said, I used condom. I'm single and I live alone. Yeah,
so that was on the clip about I saw a cow in the back of a car.
Yeah.
You found a CD that was from a previous owner in a car or something like that. I think that was your answer.
Yeah, it was like an old Eminem CD.
And then this guy, I'm hoping, or clearly it's a joke.
He's joking.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's not.
Maybe it's not. Maybe
Maybe someone got into his car,
got a little freaky, and then left the rest.
Next one is based on the ugliest car. So someone commented the name of the car, which was the Fiat Multipla that you said. And then we've got HR Motorsport UK, one ugly motor. Did you know Renault also fit an F1 V10 engine in an Espace many years ago? I did know that actually, but
did you? I didn't.
I've not seen any videos or anything.
Right.
I said maybe the noise would outweigh the ugliness of that car.
It'd be a sleeper vehicle, that's for sure. Like you wouldn't know. You probably, unless they've done the outside as well. That pulling up to you at the lights, and you just give them the raised eyebrows look of like, you want to go, and then it just absolutely flies off on the green light.
Can you imagine like, might be similar to driving Sam Rick's dad's got, to be honest, but just a bit more elusive. Like you wouldn't know about it. It's too much.
Yeah, understated kind of thing.
Understated, yeah. And then we've got one on the styling of cars. Does it get copied like fashion?
Okay, yeah.
Someone said, Tommy P571 said, there's a lot of that really, but mainly you'll find more parts from other vehicles that fit other vehicles. So Bluetooth module for a Freelander 2 is actually a Volvo part. So yeah, I was aware of that. I know they chuck parts to each other all the time. Particularly the VW group, they'll just, because they pretty much own quite a lot, they'll just spread them out to everyone. I know Aston use a lot of other people's parts because they don't generally manufacture their own.
I think that from an interior perspective or like internals, I know like when you see a lot of like the kind of crashed cars, we're going to fix it kind of videos. There's always like, oh yeah, the Lamborghini, you can go buy this off their website. It's going to cost you $2,500, but actually you can go to Audi and you'll get it for 70 quid or something like that. Or 700 quid.
Same like part number. So OEM number.
But like that's always seems to be like maybe like lights and stuff, but like full panels of how a car looks. Like I don't know. I mean, I guess the example I did give in the previous clip was like suddenly all cars had like a rear brake lights that went all the way across the back of the car. So you could maybe have some cross-pollination there of parts. But again, I think rear brake lights always seem to be unique because obviously you're trying to differentiate the look of the car and the aesthetic of the car. So I can't imagine there's too much cross-pollination there. But I do know definitely like internal stuff. Definitely there's multiple parts that get branded or white labeled in a way.
Outside design would obviously be different, but like chassis, that can be shared. I mean, some vans, for instance, there's this one model of van that literally looks the same for every brand. They just call it something different. They might change the front lights, but the back always looks the same. Can't remember. I think it's a Vivaro for Vauxhall, but then it's shared with Renault, Nissan, and it's just called something else, but it literally looks exactly the same. But
same overall kind of silhouette.
A box on wheels, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then they'll change like the module inside for like the infotainment system. But that's it.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Saves money, I guess.
Yeah, that's all they're doing. They're just saving the cost of developing something themselves when it's such a niche item that no one will notice. You may as well just use someone else's.
Yeah. Any others?
No, that's it for comments. So I guess we'll go on to Canada now.
Miami first.
Sorry.
Quick recap of Miami, even though it was 3 weeks ago, but we'll do our quick rundown. I think I'll quickly just start off, just kind of, and start from the start of the race. I think it was a good start. I remember it being, I think Kimi was on pole, then Verstappen, then Leclerc like close behind. And on the first corner, it was 3 deep. There was basically Kimi, Leclerc, and Verstappen. I think Kimi was a little bit slow off the line. Leclerc was going around the outside, and then Verstappen went deep on the inside of the corner. Yeah. And it was very, as most starts are, very exciting. But I think like 2 corners away, Verstappen had that really big spin. Can you remember the really big spin from Verstappen? Yeah. That again, he's just insane at saving the car. And I think most people on the commentators were like, that's not normally something you would see from Verstappen. And again, that's the speculation of, was it the car? Is it the electrics? Is it whatever, this active aero system, etc., that's caused it to do that? But yeah, it was a crazy save again. And also impressive that no one crashed into the back of him, because it was literally, everyone was so bunched up and it was like the second corner of the race. But yeah, it was an exciting start.
Yeah, so I did obviously note down the spin. He just got away with, like you said, not being shunted. Antonelli then took the lead back off Leclerc, and then they kept swapping around and going back and forth.
Yep.
And then pretty much after that, it sort of stayed similar to that. It's a bit of squabbling in the middle, like there always is. And then Hajar went out on the full safety car. Gasly then decided to have a spin.
Well, he didn't have his spin. He got absolutely shunted by Lawson. He
Had a spin. He spun.
He didn't have a spin. He had a flip. Like his whole car tumbled over. And again, miracle the fact that we've got the halos now, because I think his head would have been absolutely fucking crushed. But yeah, that was. I remember watching that, and it seemed very kind of just brushed over really very quickly.
But
like
I just did it there.
Quite a big quite a big crash. So not such a spin. But yeah, it was. Can't remember how much you remember, but I feel like I was tuned in for the first 20 laps, and then I feel like after that, Miami was pretty damn boring.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've got. So that's why I think I noted down the spin. I was only watching like the feature highlights. So I think the feature highlights usually go on for about 20-25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they drew out a lot of it as like meh. It wasn't really action. It was just something.
I think there was a bit of scrapping between Norris
in the middle,
Kimi and Leclerc.
A couple of swaps in the middle as well, but nothing. Like I've got that Norris then went into the lead, and then Leclerc had a slow stop, which let Russell ahead into 12th, because he would have got the strategy that they were trying to do. Leclerc would have got ahead of Russell if it went well, but he had a slow stop, so then that ruined it. And then Antonelli catches up with Norris, loses the lead, and then Verstappen squabbling with Norris. And then Verstappen eventually drops down to third to fifth. And then Leclerc, he drops from third to fifth. Leclerc and Piastri passed him. I think he was like going at it with Norris, and then sort of lost momentum. Those two came back at him, and then Leclerc went for a spin. So he dropped to sixth after squabbling, and then Norris obviously stayed second, and Kimi crossed the line again as the winner.
First place, yeah. So it was Kimi. It ended Kimi, Norris, Piastri, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was another race with kind of a high-ish attrition rate. 4 drivers were out. I can't remember who exactly. I want to say maybe Hulkenberg, Hajar, etc. But there were 5 drivers out by the end of that race. Mm-hmm. And that's very similar and reminiscent of many of the races so far this season. And we see the same going into the Canada race as well. But it was good to see Kimi on the podium. Bless him, he's doing amazing. I think that was 3 straight wins in a row for Kimi. And he's really cementing himself as a very strong driver and a very strong contender for, Drivers' Championship this year. So we'll have to see. And obviously Miami was after a very long extended break because of the 2 races being cancelled. So there was a lot of excitement to see, would anyone change much? I didn't feel like there was much change. I actually felt like coming into Canada, there was more change, especially more with the Ferraris. They seemed more competitive. I wouldn't say anything crazy more competitive. I think in the Miami race, everyone had like, oh, wow, McLaren's back. But then that's
literally what I wrote as well. I put underneath my Miami notes that, McLaren back. Because obviously they got
maybe
second and third.
Yeah.
So,
and
I was thinking
moving on to Canada now a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of jumping to the end here, but because it's all ruined because of the start. I think the McLaren could have had a good result they had a good result in the sprint. They had a good result in qualifying. In a way, so I thought they could have had a great race. They looked to be doing better than Ferrari all weekend, but jumping to the start of the race, it was cold. Many of them said that, I think Mercedes in particular, Russell was saying that they were struggling because of the cold, struggling to get the tyres up to temperature. Other cars
13,
like the
13
Ferraris.
degrees outside, wasn't it? Something like that.
I can't remember, but have they changed the time of the race this year as well or something like that? Whether either timing on the actual day or...
seriously overcast.
Yeah.
And the temperature just dramatically dropped. I think the day before, the outside temperature was like 10 to 15 degrees higher.
Yeah.
In comparison. So it was like completely like...
different. And it was raining. It was raining at the point when they were on the grid. And I know there's a lot of people speculating, who the hell made that call to put the inters on Piastri and Norris. I think a bunch of other teams did as well. I think the Audis, they had inters on as well, and maybe a couple of other drivers. But I think it was definitely clearly a big mistake. We obviously know it was a big mistake because rain never came. But that really made the two McLaren struggle. Piastri notably being the more vocal at the start of the race about it not being the best choice. And equally on the start of the race, we had to have 2 extra formation laps because when they got to the front, Paul Lindblad, his car couldn't get into gear, could it? So that annoyed me immediately because I was like, he's in my bloody F1 team again. So he's not even started. I'm losing points. But yeah, it was an interesting start, and the rain never came.
No, not fully. And both of the McLaren drivers, I've seen some comments saying both of you drivers are on the track saying, yeah, it's a bit slippy. It probably might be a bit slippy, but I don't think it's inters. And then they just go, well, we'll put inters on anyway. And then it's stuffed their whole race because you're essentially doing an extra pit stop that you don't want to do. They both came in after, I think Piastri came in straight away, and then Norris went in the lap after.
Yeah. Bernie Collins was saying on the radio, like, technically they wouldn't then have had to do 2 different tyre compounds.
No,
So they could say if like the medium was the best of the day, they could just do a medium, or heaven forbid they tried to do like a 1 stop on a hard throughout the whole thing. It could have been an interesting way of strategizing it, but they didn't even do that really. So and they could have maybe got things better later if some of the crashes turned out to be full virtual safety cars, because then they could have caught back up and been more competitive. But even that didn't happen. It was virtual safety cars. So, but yeah, starting on inters was not good for any of them that did start on them. No. I think it was a very scrappy start though. And
I like the start.
More notably, not even just from the actual starting first lap, but for like the first, for most of the first 30 bloody laps between Antonelli and Russell, like they are scrapping.
That squabble is like so good. Like, and the fact that Mercedes didn't say anything for quite a while, and it took them a while to actually say, right guys, come on, you're gonna both be off the track if you carry on.
And do you know what? I think that's the thing that's also, again, we touched on it earlier, like that might have all been because of being able to boost and bunny hop each other. But because we couldn't see it, we were just excited to watch a scrap going on, if you know what I mean. The scrapping was really good, and it's definitely not reminiscent of days of old where it was Hamilton and Bottas. If Hamilton was up front, Bottas would just kind of follow behind unless, shit hit the fan. But yeah, it is. They're both sat there trying to prove their worth, and it's very, very entertaining to watch.
I mean, you could definitely tell that Antonelli's younger, like the way he just absolutely steams into that last corner and then just goes, no, not going to make it, goes off, goes back behind him again. And then like the amount of flat spots that everyone was getting across the grid, like braking because it was probably a little bit colder and struggling to stop the cars, like it just added to it. And then the Russell and Antonelli battle was just never seemed to end. I thought, are they going to get told? Are they is it just going to end that they just smash into each other? And then obviously, what actually happens is what Russell said is the worst thing that could ever happen to him is that I end up scoring no points. I don't mind losing out on some points, but to me, the worst thing ever is just doing DNF. And that was actually his first DNF for 38 races.
Wow. Okay. Did not know that stat myself, but that's
38 race streak. And there's how many in the calendar? 22?
22. So he's almost gone.
Not this year.
Obviously over a full season
years.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Must not have DNF'd all of last year then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the thing that blew my mind was, like you've just said, they must have caused many flat spots. And I think the window for the soft tyres was 23 to 27 laps or something like that. And Russell didn't get, and they were scrapping hard and also making strides away from the rest of the pack on older tyres, up to lap 30, that they were still squabbling. And I was sat there thinking, I know they're squabbling to try and get first position to the first pit, who can get pit priority. But I was they're still scrapping really hard here. But their tyres are seemingly staying competitive, even 30 laps in. So something's going really well with how they've developed that car to stay out of the window that was already planned. Again, maybe the window was not planned for the softs. Maybe the softs can go the distance. Maybe that's where I'm maybe getting it wrong. The actual the strategy was to stop then, but the tires would still be pretty good. But to get in what we need for the pit stops, we need to stop you earlier. But still, from what I could see on the graphics, I was like, holy cow, they're still going 31 laps in, absolutely battling each other. Surely someone should be going off by now. And when Russell did go off, I thought it was that, his tires had failed him.
Gone.
But I don't know if you remember, but the actual replay, you can actually hear his car just lose power, and then obviously it just conks out. Kind of thing.
Completely gone. And that, they didn't really have anything descriptive to say on the commentary. Just that, that don't sound great. It just sounds like it's completely blown up itself.
It had blown up itself in a way, I would say, but it wasn't as bad as the McLaren blow up. Can you remember Norris's car? Did you see the replay of that? Well, no. So in the Canada race, Norris's car conked out.
Oh, the gearbox.
And it literally sounded like a wood chipper. It literally sounds like someone had thrown something into his engine bay, and it absolutely mauled it up. The one on Norris's, it just sounded like it just cut out and lost power and just kind of slowed down to a halt kind of thing. But they're both sharing the same power units, aren't they? The McLaren and the Mercedes, because that was the whole controversy at the beginning of the year, wasn't it?
They were they sort of wanted them to share how they've got the extra power, but obviously they're not going to share that. That was the whole controversy and how they've managed to get a little bit extra from it, but it's not up to them to share that information. Here's your engine, you do what you want with it.
Well, I think that's what we saw maybe in Miami as well. It seemed like it wasn't dramatic, but it seemed like whatever they needed to figure out,
they've done something. They
figured it out, kind of thing.
All in all, for McLaren, again, not a good race. They've not had many good races this year as a team, as team decisions and just getting over the line and getting a decent result. There's not been too many in general. And then obviously after that, Hamilton did a really good overtake on Verstappen round the outside on the first turn, which then he was in second, and then obviously Antonelli quietly crosses the line again with no one to fight with after Russell going off.
Yeah, he just seemed to steam on ahead after that. I think there was some... it was interesting to see, I think there was a lip between Leclerc, Hajar, Hamilton kind of pushing. Hajar, interestingly, seeming to, I know not having luck in Miami crashing out, but like he's, at least in this race, he's up there with the top, top 5, top 6. He's not always been that in a way.
No.
So interesting to see that he's managing to wrestle with the car well. So can he continue that going into more races to get some more consistency? Can actually be fighting with the likes of the other Ferraris or the McLarens for good spots and good points. So yeah, interesting to see that. But yeah, Kimi, four consecutive. I think he's again breaking records for like from first win to like 4 straight wins is like 4 consecutive wins is like another thing that he's breaking. So you never know, this kid could end up being something that breaks all the records. He's so young, so early in the career. We know that Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton are holding the world records for kind of drivers' championships, but he's got enough longevity in him that if he gets a good start, you never know, this could be the person that kind of breaks all records that exist, kind of thing.
No, yeah, definitely, I agree. Like he's showing an element of obviously consistency keeps winning. Obviously, just to have those fights with Russell, and yes, a few times they came close to smashing into each other, but that's racing. It's all about close calls and not actually committing to them. A few of the times I feel like he was coming from probably a bit too far away and doing a bit of a lunge, but I think that's just in him, and I feel like Verstappen was a bit more like that at the start as well. Just didn't really care.
And he can still be like that to this day sometimes as well, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. And like you have to go for it if you're a driver. You can't be, I might do it there every now and then. I feel like Ollie Behrman as well always tends to do good moves. He always goes for spaces. He's quietly making those moves a little bit lower down, but generally across the season I've seen him do quite a lot of really good overtakes. And whether they've all got boost or not, he's still got to have the balls to go and go. I'm lunging down here. Don't know what's going to happen, and that adrenaline that they must get from the extra speed and just going into that corner must be insane.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like, and I can't even when you get them lockups, like. They probably don't even compute it in their head in the moment as fear. It's just like, I've cocked up. I need to. How do I get the car, lined up for the next corner and get out, kind of thing. Yeah. But even them, like, I've never had to slam the brakes on a car. Like, obviously for like driving tests for an emergency stop, but like, I've never had to be in a position, touch wood, to slam my brakes. And I imagine I'd absolutely soar in my pants the first time I have to do that. The fact that they're doing, Kimi's doing that on almost like the same corner every lap to try and almost destroy Osama bin Russell.
Beat him to the corner,
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, another race with high attrition though. They had 5 drivers out in this race. God knows when we're going to get to a race where actually 22 drivers finish. It's Monaco, I think, is the next race. Don't think it's going to happen there.
Can't see 22 finishing there.
The weather depending, obviously. Weather depending.
Yeah.
It could be dry, and again, because it's kind of a narrow track, and we've always said there's never really any overtaking. Maybe, who knows? With the overtake boost electricity stuff, maybe there is more chance for overtakes in Monaco and not just a massive DRS train. So that could be an opportunity for the, a bit more excitement in this new era, new formula of F1. But it also could be another recipe for disaster, because what if people just absolutely judge it wrong, and because it's such a narrow tracks, just end up absolutely mangling each other.
I think they're all going to use the boost through the tunnel and then just get to that hill and go, oh crap. They're going to
everyone's piling past.
You can get so many people just going straight across, and it'll be like, warning, you've gone across track limits, give a position back. That's all we're going to see. You saw all the exclamation marks next to the drivers names last race, never mind Monaco.
Yeah, but interesting, all of them are all for like, most of them were all speeding in the pit lane. And I'm like, what, how, why is everyone suddenly speeding in the pit lane so much? Yeah, like I swear it's got a button that is like pit mode and you just need to wait until you're out the pit. But yeah.
Yeah, they have to brake before they get there though, don't they, manually? So
yeah, true.
They try and maximise that.
As much as possible. Yeah.
I want to be at 100 and then I'm going straight down to it within a second or whatever.
Just to pit speed, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, good race. I am enjoying it. Maybe we're enjoying it again because we can't see the graphics and we're just enjoying the overtakes like normal. I would say this race, Canada race, I was spending way more time actually focusing on what's happening at the top of the pack where it kind of matters as such. I know I do enjoy looking at the overtakes that are happening across the rest of the field and just enjoying the whole race in total. But it did feel like more stakes were on the line, which I think added to the entertainment value of the race in a sense for Canada and Montreal this weekend at least. So yeah, good race. Hopefully we can get more like that going into the rest of the season.
I tend to always like Canada anyway, as a general. So I was hoping that it wasn't going to disappoint, and it didn't. So
yeah. So I can't remember. Is it 2 weeks away? I think it is for the next one. We got a break again for 1 weekend at least, and then it's back on. But that is our recap of the F1. Do we want to go into our clips of the week before we round out the episode, George?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first? Sure.
Yeah, I'll go first. So mine was from the Miami race. I'm sure everyone's seen this. But presenters are stood, I think they're in the paddock. And this model or actress, I don't know what she was, walks past the cameras. And all you see is the two presenters just trying to present, but then also just slowly having a look.
I think I know which one you're about, yeah.
It's so funny, like it just blew up straight away. And you've got like people saying, "Oh, Jensen's hanging on for dear life." It's like it's just stood there, like clenched his microphone, but then like I think they all do it like subconsciously.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm on telly. And then just like go back in like, yeah, I wasn't looking. And then obviously because it goes viral, I'm not sure who their wives are, but I'm sure it's not gone down well at home.
No, probably not. But I think that, there's equally, I think similar things I've seen is like people, they're just walking past and there's guys like working with the tyres, trying to put them away, like working in the back end of the kind of pits. And they're all like this, like rubbernecking to see issues go down kind of pit area. My clip of the week is I saw a clip, and I mainly just because I thought it was just insane what I saw with my own two eyes. There's a guy on Instagram called rad.f100, and he's got a clearly very modified Ford F100 truck, and he is on the highway, and then all of a sudden he just pulls over onto what looks like a very kind of banked, grassy, slightly hilly side of the highway, just
like a side of a country road kind of thing. Like,
doesn't lift off, just same speed, and just absolutely, throws it down this kind of grassy banked area, and the suspension on this car is just taking it all, and then it clips to the guys inside it. I think the two passengers, one of them's definitely shitting themselves more than the other one. There's another guy in the middle at the back, and he's kind of like got his hands like this, like, whoa, what's going on? And the car sounds phenomenal as well, but I was just impressed. And I know we see some of these EV cars in China now with the like really impressive suspension systems that you can just see them not take a single piece of like disturbance. Yeah. But yeah, to see the old F100 do that was pretty impressive too. So yeah, definitely go check that out. I think he's got a whole Instagram dedicated just to that one car. So yeah, that's my tip of the week.
He sent it to me and like it's crazy. He's like you say, he doesn't even slow down. He just pulls straight onto it like, oh, I'm cutting in, getting around this traffic. And just
that's what I want. I want a car like, if I've got money, no object kind of thing in the future, and if I could have, let's say, a 5-car garage, one of them would be one of them, because I just, if the apocalypse kicks off, I need something that I can just put 6 jerry cans in the back, and no matter what road I'm on or surface I'm on, I can just absolutely rag it and get away from people. Some kind of apocalypse vehicle. So that I'd love to have something like that in the future. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, just to be able to take something off road and not care that it might break, or just have a completely different sort of drive would definitely. Yeah, it would definitely be completely different to anything that we've ever had or driven.
Yeah. So, I think that's everything pretty much from us week, isn't it, George? Bit shorter.
Nothing else from me.
Bit shorter, but also a bit longer than our first one. We're trying to keep these under an hour now, at least, and we're trying to get closer and closer to 40, 30 minutes. But there was a lot to cover since, it's been a while since we got back with a video. But we appreciate you all coming back to watch. If you've got any comments, put comments down below. And we appreciate you again coming to listen, and we hope you can click subscribe down below. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.